welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia, or Fee if you're new. Welcome back to Fee and Family. Today is going to be something a little bit different. It's going to be a story time. Yeah, a story time. So, grab your, not drinking at the moment, so ginger ale, okay? It's going to be a story time about the time that I found out I was a side chick. And let me preference or send out y'all a disclaimer. I'm 37. This was like when I was 19, 20. So this is pretty old. And I didn't know, okay? So anyway, let's pull up. And while y'all pouring y'all drinks, make sure that you like the video. If you guys enjoy the story times and want more, hit that like button, the thumbs up button, and leave me a comment down below so that I know I can do some more, because I got a ton of stories, y'all. Okay? A lot. But anyway, so let's set the mood, set the scene. Again, I was like 19 or 20, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. I was engaged. It was a bit rocky. We were just like roommates or whatever, basically, in my mind. That's a different story, so let's go. So at one point, I just decided I wanted to get back into the workforce, so I applied for a job at a department store and got the job same day. A week later, I go to the training class, and they're talking about the job and what to expect. The basic stuff for training. The door to the training room was open, so there was this guy that walked by. And he walked by, and it was like, oh, his smile. And he hit me one of those, what's up? But our eyes locked immediately, and it was like, baby, what training class? I wasn't paying attention. The whole time I'm thinking, like, who is this dude? Like, who are you? So the next day, we have to do maybe like a week later, because I didn't see him anymore. The next week, we had to go into the break room and pretend that we were selling merchandise to a customer with our GM. And who walks in, y'all? Him. We don't call him D. We don't call him D. So D walk in, and again, our eyes lock. And this time he looked at me and he was like, "You are so beautiful." And I'm like, in my head, y'all, in my head, I'm like, "Thank you." And he walked off, and he left that lingering scent of that man, that cologne. He smells so good. Anyway, he smells so good. So, didn't see him again after that. So, I'm still thinking about this dude while I'm going home to my man, okay? Yeah, still thinking about him. So maybe like 2 weeks go by, and I started working at night, was it 3 to 11 or something like that? I can't remember, y'all. Anyway, so I smell his cologne, and I'm like, who is that? Like, who got that cologne on? Where is he? And of course, he walks by, and he's like the little janitor dude, the trash man or whatever. And he comes like to my area to get the trash, and he was like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey, like, what's your name?" I told him he told me his name. I told him my name. Didn't think anything of it. Going about his business. So I turned to one of my coworkers. I'm like, "That janitor dude, like, who is he? Like, what does he do? I don't see him much." They were like, "Oh, he got a full-time job. He just works here at night. He's a real cool dude." I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right, cool." So, coming back home, still thinking about this dude. And I'm like, man, he probably got a girlfriend, married, whatever, blah, blah. So one night it started raining and we were leaving the store. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna get wet because I had that little relax at that time. So this was way back in 2009, y'all. So being natural wasn't a thing back then. It was raining, pouring down rain, and I'm standing at the door. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna get wet. And I look over, and he parked his car like right by the door, and he blew his horn, and he rolled the window down. He's like, hey, you want to ride? I'm like, bro, I don't know you. Yeah, I want to ride. So I got in the car, and of course, all the females over there looking like, I was like, whatever. I've been getting it all my life. So I get in the car, and before I sat down, he's like, I got you something. I'm like, what? And he pulled out this rose, single rose. He's like, this is for you. I was like melting, like, oh, I'm young and dumb, y'all. I'm just, anyway, so I get in the car. I was like, thank you, whatever. He drove me to my car. We sat there for a minute and chit-chatted. He told me, just a little bit about himself, not much. And I did the same. Well, actually, I did. I told him that I was engaged and I recently had a daughter, but, I'm ready to call it quits and move on about my business. Like, cool. So we exchanged numbers. We started texting back and forth. It went from 0 to 1,000, and it happened so quick, So it got to the point where I would work the night shift just so I could see him at night, routine every night. He would walk me to my car, drive me to my car, we would chill in the car, blah, blah, blah. And one night, he, before we said bye, whatever, he leaned in and kissed me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Ooh, 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 And baby was like fireworks, like pew, 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 fireworks. And I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. So I went from texting to calling on the phone. And when you first meet somebody, it's like the honeymoon phase. You can't see anything wrong. You got these little blinders on. That's how it was. So all the people that worked in my department, they started seeing that we were getting like real friendly and close and stuff. And there was a couple of females that liked him, I guess. And anyway, you know how females are. So I was the talk of the department. Now I know why. I was the talk of the department at the time. My fiance was, he was like, you getting kind of distant from me and, what's going on? I'm like, nothing, nothing. Meanwhile, I got this whole dude just showering me with gifts and romance. And so one night, getting off work, he sends me a message. And he's like, meet me at this location. And when you get here, go to the front desk, get the key, and come up. And I'm like, this dude got me coming to a hotel room. What am I getting myself into? Y'all. When I opened that door, it's kind of dim, the lights were dim, it was like music playing. There was rose petals on the floor, on the bed. And I'm like, he trying to get some Gucci. He trying to get some Gucci. That. So he came over, got my bags and stuff and took me a shower. And I got a massage. And did a little, what that is, the grown folk stuff. And I was like, I was locked in. If we locked in, ain't no switching up. That was me. I was locked in then. And after we, we just kind of, laid there and chilled. And his phone rang, and he did his little number like, and kind of put it down. The phone kept ringing. And I'm like, answer the phone. He's like, nah, it's just a coworker, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Remember, I'm 19, 20. I'm young and dumb, okay? So, we just kept, hooking up, doing the grown folks, whatever, going out to the beach, here and there. But it was always at night. And I hear that thunder. It was always at night. And so one day I came home and my daughter was crying. So I went in the room, but I was texting him at the same time. And I left my phone in the living room on the couch. And I went to my daughter's room and put her to sleep. While putting her to sleep, I fell asleep. And so my dude at the time came in. He was like, hey, your phone keep ringing. You might want to answer it. And threw the phone at me. And I'm like, oh, you know what? So he about to find out. And so I looked. And I didn't respond. I just kind of laid in my daughter's room. And after a while, I went into the bedroom. It's like, I called the number up. N-word answered. And I'm like, okay, it's just a coworker. He calls the dude and was like, hey, don't call her phone anymore. She got my baby. And that's the mother of my child, and you shouldn't be calling her. And hung up on him. I'm like, okay, whatever. So after that, I'm like, dude, this ain't gonna work. Let's cut our losses. Go about your business. I go about mine. And so I'm out here in these streets single. At that time, it kind of gravitated to, D coming over all the time and hanging out. We just chilling, and one night, the phone rang and he answered. He was like, all right, I'll be right there. And I could hear that it was a female's voice. So I'm like, who is that? He's like, oh, that's nobody. I'm like, bruh, who is that? So every time, you're around me or you answer your phone, be 2-word in it and hang up, or you don't answer the phone at all, you turn it over. I'm like, who is this? He kept saying nobody. So we continue talking, whatever. So I go to work the next day, and one of my coworkers was like, you still hanging out with D? And I'm like, yeah, why? She was like, you do know that he is married. I'm like, married? No, he would have told me he was married, and that kind of it bothered me all day. So when we got off, I was real short with him. I was like, no, I got it. I don't need you to walk me to my car. I don't need you to do anything for me. And, he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, are you married? And he was like, well, I'm separated. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just say that, And he was like, I don't know. So like, why didn't you just say that? And he was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. You know how dudes do. Y'all. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning one day. I was taking my daughter to school, and I get a call from a private number. At the time, I had no debts, no nothing, so I answered them kind of numbers, back then. So I'm like, hello. And this lady says, hey, B, what you and my husband got going on? I mother like you. I'm tired of y'all bees, playing with my husband. And I was just speechless. And I was like, whoa, who is this? And she was like, the dude that you messing around with, that's my husband. And by the way, I'm a pastor. And I'm like, what? I was like, well, you don't need to be directing your anger towards me. You need to check your husband. And I hung up the phone. Immediately, y'all, I called him. I'm like, bruh, you got your wife calling my phone? I thought y'all were separated. Comes to find out, he and she were separated, but they were in the process of renewing their vows and getting back together and all this stuff. And I'm like, what in the world have you got me into? I'm like, this woman talking about she gonna unalive me. I'm like, what? So at that point, I'm just like, I'm about to cut my losses. It was fun while it lasted, but I got to go. And so I don't know if he quit the job at the department store after all of that went down. I didn't see him for maybe 6 months. And then out of nowhere, he comes, back just happy and jolly. But I was real short with him at that time. I'm like, bruh, I just can't believe this. I'm like, all you had to do is say, I'm married, I'm working it out. I wouldn't have took you up on your advances, nothing like that. So, yeah. I was a whole side chick out in these streets. Didn't even know it. But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. And I have not seen him probably it's been at least 10 years. No, I lie. I saw him at Golden Corral one time, twice actually, eating by himself. And now he is a preacher, a pastor, whatever you want to call it. He's a pastor with his wife. They are still together to this day. Y'all, men ain't chat. That's it. So if you enjoy the story times and want more, I have more. A lot. Let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to share the video so you don't miss out on any uploads. Until next time, y'all.